Welcome back. Hope you all had a good time to relax, and I believe that you are ready for the second session on apparel production for fashion designers by Pushottam B. Sir. It's a great privilege to welcome Pushottam Sir, as Sir has been the greatest and biggest motivator for all we younger generation teachers, and Sir is constantly encouraging all the teachers to do their best. Mr. Pushottam was born in Mysore on the 20th of January, an eminent textile technologist, quality management expert, and chartered engineer, having over 43 years of experience in textiles and garment industry. Guided number of textile and garment industries in India and abroad for implementing quality management system, and has trained thousands of shop floor technicians for implementing TQM and QMS. Sir has guided hundreds of technicians for getting ATA and GMTA, hundreds of students for their project work in BTech, MTech, MBA, MPhil, etc. Helped textile education in India by being a committee member for setting up syllabus for various universities for courses in fashion and textiles at Shivaji University, NMIMS University, YCMO University, JOC, that is Job Oriented Courses of Karnataka. Sir was in the advisory subcommittee of Bombay Textile Research Association, TX30 Committee of Bureau of Indian Standards, and a senior examiner for Tata Business Excellency Model, and an examiner for ATA and GMT examinations of the Textile Association of India for a number of colleges and universities. Actively participated in the activities of the Textile Association of India and served as Honorary Secretary and Chairman of Ichil Karanji Meerut Unit, Honorary Secretary of Karnataka Unit, Co-Chairman of Book Publishing Committee and Syllabus Committee member for ATA and GMTA examinations. Authored 32 technical and management books, having international reputation, presented over 60 papers in various national and international seminars, written 36 books in Kannada on various subjects. Sir has given the concept of 5 golden questions, numerical evaluation of QMS, work quality management, aspiration-driven markets, and has given definitions for quality and TQM linking the customer requirement and also society needs. Sir has been recognized with Textile Association of India's Ratna Award by the Textile Association of India, Bharat Gaurav Award, Bharat Ratna APJ Abdul Kalam Excellence Award, Bharat Ratna Atal Bihari Vajpayee Excellence Award, Best Citizen of India Award, and Pride of India Award, Glory of India Award, and Gold Medal are a few to mention. Sir, we welcome you once again for the FTP and request you to start the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam, for the kind introduction. So now I will be directly going to the presentation. And first I would like to tell I am not an expert in apparel production or apparel designing. I am a jack of all, but master of none. So with my experience, whatever I have seen, because I entered apparel field only after retiring from textile industry. Okay. So I am just trying to give whatever I have understood something. Okay. So I will start the presentation. All are hearing me now? No problem.
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir. Please continue.
Yes, I welcome you all for apparel production and its importance in a designer's life. Apparel production and apparel designing. What is the relation between these two? First, we have to understand. Because production is something different and designing is something. Designing, people say it is easy, but according to me, it is not easy. Okay. And designers say production is easy, there is no need to break your head. Let us see what is the relation. Apparel production cannot take place without apparel designing. So one should design, then only production can take place. Then apparel designer cannot survive if apparel production does not take up. So whatever I have made a design, somebody should produce it. Otherwise, I cannot survive. And both cannot survive if the customer does not take what they did. So designer has made a design, producer has produced, but customers are not taking it. So you can see in the garment shops, lot of garments are lying unsold. So nobody can survive. Now, when I say apparel, normally people think it is the dress material which people wear. Okay, the definition is also like that. But today, I am changing that definition because when you are designing, you can design. You can design for anything. So let us see what are the things we can take in apparel. Dresses and costumes for men, women, and children. Okay, that is normal. Then uniform for military, police, security, firefighting, personnel, home guard, sailor, etc. So here, these uniforms are also dresses, but uniform have got a separate function, whereas other fashion dress material have a different function. Their looking nice is most important, but here doing the work is most important. Then furnishings, you can include it in the apparel. For example, the car seats, seat covers, beds, pillow covers, sofa sets, cushions, all these things you can include in the apparel manufacturing because same machineries, curtains and home decor items. Then bags, the travel bags are there, filter bags are there, agro bags which are used in agriculture industries, kits for various purposes like PPE kits, whatever people are making now for this corona warriors like that, handbags for bringing vegetables or bringing groceries or for carrying anything and so on. There are so many things. Then medical gowns, protective clothing, sports material, all you can include in apparel. So in general, you can give the definition for apparel, all the areas where textiles are used, which are cut and sewn to different shapes and dimensions depending on their required functions and objectives. So here this is more important, required function and objective. I am wearing a cloth not just for protecting myself from sun or this one like that weather. There are so many other functions of my cloth. Some people say you should look good, you should be decent, and I should be able to do my work without any hindrances. It should not be any problem. See, there are so many things, and it should last longer, and all depends on how people use it. And there are some objectives. Why this cloth only, this particular, this one only. Yesterday you must have seen this Rama Janmabhoomi program. So Modi was wearing certain cloth because that cloth is meant for that ritual. He was not wearing pant, suit like that. So for everything, there is some objective, there is some function. And apparel designer will design the garment or apparel for that purpose. Now, what are the considerations, main considerations? If we say apparel production first, producing the required number of garments in the prescribed time limit at the lowest possible cost. That is the first and foremost. Then mass production to reduce the cost. So apparel production man is always thinking of mass production. Then he is to change from one design to another with minimum production loss. Because the biggest problem in apparel is the designs are not constant. Designs are changing. Styles are changing. Fashion is changing. But if you go to any engineering product, the dimension of a screw will remain permanent. If you give that specification, that screw will come and it may be 100 years, 1000 years, that screw dimensions will remain same. But garment industry is not like that. Then deciding on suitable production system. This is another very important thing because garments are made at so many different places all are not using the same production technology or same production system. Production systems are entirely different. So I will be going in detail about the production system, which is very, very important for an apparel designer to understand, because whatever design we make should be suitable for that production system what is being adopted. So for apparel designer, producing new designs which are not existing in the market, and it should be attracting to the consumers. This is most important. See, if you are copying something, then it is not, you are not a designer. The designer is not copying something. He will be or she will be thinking something different than which is not there already in the market. So it should be something new. That is very important. Then produce a design that is accepted by majority of customers. So I can make a design, but customer should understand it and customer should accept it. If my design is not accepted by customer, for example, I am a fancy fellow and I will put a tie to my pant. So I say this is a design, I am making new design, Hanuman design, which is not there in the market. But there is no customer to buy that particular pant with a tie in the back. Right? No, it may be only for a drama you can make it. To produce design which can be adopted by production section. That is another important. Because the production section, they have got a set of machineries, a set of people, a type of layout, and in that they can take certain type of designs only. They cannot take all designs. So if you are a designer linked to a particular factory, then you should know what is the production system that is being followed. And my designing should be such that it is easy for the production people to use it. Otherwise, my design has no meaning. Then understanding the production system being followed and designing the apparel suitably. So the strength of an apparel designer is this: understanding the production system being followed and designing the apparel suitably. Okay. So we'll go to the next slide. Basic activities involved in apparel production. All of you know the basic activities. But what are the, whatever may be the activities, I am putting online quality inspection and offline quality audits. These are compulsory for all the activities. Okay. It is not a separate activity. It may be separate people or the same people. But this activity will be there. One, identifying the trend and sourcing the fabric to cover production orders. So there are production orders, some orders have not come, but I know the trend. I know the, what do you say, your seasons. And according to that, you know, this particular fabric can be used. And there are some fabric which are compulsory and going in on. For example, what you are making, this fusing material, so that nano-woven what you are using, that is common for all. So you can simply purchase them and keep it with you, depending on your financial conditions. Then fabric inspection and allocating the roles for different styles. So fabric, while purchasing, I am giving the specifications, and my supplier is doing everything as per the specification given to me. And he is keeping the defects also within the limit. In spite of that, I have to inspect them and I have to allocate them for different styles, because some styles require something special. All styles are not same. Some styles are easy. Some are very complicated. Some are very costly. Okay. Then producing samples and getting approval from designer and customer. Both you have to get approval. So you cannot simply start manufacturing. And so many times it is not one sample. they will be making series of samples with the different fabrics, samples with the different dimensions, and they give it for approval. They get the remarks again, and they make changes according to the customer's requirement. The designer has already given the design, but customer makes some changes. So that changes I have to accommodate in the design again, and then again redesign the garment. Then fabric cutting activities. There are different type of cutting activities. Some companies, they use manual cutting. Some are using automatic cutting. And the tailor shops, they are using entirely different type of cutting. It is not bulk cutting, individual piece cutting. So you have to understand different cutting activities. Then assembling and sewing activities. Same thing. Sewing also is not same for all. Sewing is different. Different panels require different type of sewings, different type of threads, different type of activities depending on whether the panel comes in the front or panel goes in the back. And sometimes we are adding some appliques, some decorations. There are so many things. Then finishing activities, trimming the garments, whatever we have, then adding buttons, then putting labels, and again putting instructions. There are so many things. Then packing and transporting to retail shops. All packings are not same because depending on the customer, my packing is going to change. Depending on the country, my packing is going to change because now so many countries are not accepting our packing materials. The packing materials, once we open the garments, then it becomes a waste, and that they don't know how to use it. So they say, I don't want any packing. So there are so many countries like that. They say you put on hangers and send me. No packing at all. No, saris are not being packed. They are just twisted and sent. And some people say they want packing like this. It should be presenting. I want to give a presentation to somebody in the marriage. So I cannot give a open sari or open garment. So depending on the customer, I have to make the packing. And transportation again depends on the packing, whatever we have done. And if you see any garment manufacturing company, a general working layout. It will start with design and sketch, then basic blocks are made, then working patterns are made, sample making, then understanding manufacturing differences, then upload sample, then casting will be made, production pattern is made, grading is made, marker making, fabric spreading, cutting, sorting, and bundling, sewing, ironing and finishing, final inspection, packing, sent to buyer. These are general. But if you go to any garment factory, depending on their production system, they will have a different process flow. So don't take this one as common for all garment factories. Now we come to designing. Designing means you are all apparel designers and you know what is designing. So in the designing, first thing what we have to discuss is design stages. What are the design stages in garment manufacturing? Selection of basic raw materials considering the function of the garment. Dr. Vijay Kumar talked for more than 1 hour on this particular one line. Selection of basic raw materials considering the function. So function means what? What are the work the man will be doing wearing that garment? What are the work or the resistances this garment will have to take up? So in which condition he will be working, whether he is working in an office or he is working in an open field, or if he is a player, he is playing football or cricket. So there is a lot of difference between playing football and playing cricket. You cannot have the same cloth for both. So like that, there are so many things which we have to consider. So and depending on the environmental conditions, cold weather or hot weather or rainy weather, because there are so many places, even in our Karnataka itself, Malenadu area, if you go, for 3-4 months it will be continuously raining. So there they cannot use the same cloth what we are using in Bangalore city. So there's a big difference. And I have seen so many places where continuous humidity is more, especially in coastal areas. All garments, whatever we have kept after washing, we have kept for drying, they all get fungus. So if you are keeping garments in a box, it is getting affected. Fungus are growing. There are so many problems. So you should understand customer, where he is, how he is using the material, what are his conditions. For that purpose, I should select the basic raw material. Then deciding the fabric construction again. So all fabrics are not same. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of fabric constructions. Only in say Poplin, our professor Muniswamy had given some 2,000 varieties. She had made a big list in Poplin itself. So we have to understand which particular fabric construction is most suitable for the particular design or the particular apparel which I am going to design. So that considers weaves, knit, GSM, pattern, shape, shade, etc. See, pattern means not your garment pattern I am talking. Checks, stripes, there are so many patterns in the weaving. So in the weaving, we can say it's a plain weave, twill weave, that is the weave, satin, etc. But in the plain itself, I can have checks, I can have stripes, or I can have prints. So that I am calling it as pattern and shades. Then deciding and producing trims, procuring trims and other accessories, including sewing thread, buttons, zips, and so on. See, all sewing threads are not same. Vijay Kumar explained you very well. So, and that the denier of sewing thread or the text or count of that sewing thread depends on the fabric GSM, the fabric whether it's woven or knitted. I cannot use the same. And say for cotton cloth, I may use cotton sewing thread. But for polyester cotton cloth, I have to use a polyester cotton sewing thread only. And properties of material, sewing thread, and properties of apparel material in the apparel, they both should be same. Then only it will last long. Then buttons. See, buttons are for there is a function for buttons, and also buttons are for aesthetic values. So different types of buttons are there. There are some buttons which are only for show. Some functional buttons are there inside, and over you are putting a different button. Like that, zips are there. All zips are not same. So different types of zips and so on. Then deciding the style and dimensions, considering the body shape and size. See what garment you are making. A full arm shirt, half arm shirt, or a kurta. See, there are so many things. That is called a style. And dimensions. Dimension depending on the particular person who is wearing. And in this style, you can also consider the condition of the person. A healthy man is different. A old man is different. A patient is different. And a man with this amputated legs or hand broken or anything like that. So all are different. So I cannot have the same cloth, same this one fabric, and same style for all. So you have to think that also for what purpose I am designing. Then variations in stitch, appliques, accessories, prints, artwork, embroidery, finishes, and so on. And you know more detail. I am not an expert in that, but I know it is just like a ocean. Then designing and placing of logos, labels, instruction, etc. See, fabric is same. The same shirt I am using, but somebody wants label in the front on the pocket. Somebody wants it in the back. Somebody wants label in the back. See, there are so many things. That is their requirement, and we have to do it. Then packing and presentation, I have already discussed with you. Now, relation of designing to production system. Designer should be clear about the objective of the design being developed. So why I am developing this particular design, that objective he should be very, very clear. The expected functions of the apparel, the expectation and the activities of the customer. See, take a simple example. A shirt is a shirt, but a shirt for a man going for an office, a shirt for an old man staying in the house, a shirt for a small kid playing in the mud, there's a lot of difference. So depending on that, I should develop it. And the designer should have knowledge of the production system in place and provide designs that can be produced economically and in time as needed. So in our garment manufacturing, the biggest problem is producing the garment economically, because companies should make some profit. We should not make loss. I may give you everything what customer wanted, and making a loss is not correct. And I should be able to give it in time when the customer wanted it. The designer should have the knowledge of the shortcomings of the production system in place and know what can be done and what cannot. Production system is depending on the manufacturing person. So all manufacturing persons are not same. All factories are not same. So all have got some problem. So something they can do, something they cannot do. So a designer should know. The design should complement the production system in place. That is the most important. Now we come to different production systems, whatever we have come across. Now individual production system and bundling system, assembly line system and modular manufacturing system. You can make 4 main groups. And within that groups, in individual production system, there are make-through system, whole garment system, that is complete whole garment system and departmental whole garment system, then sectional process system, or it is called as group system. Then conventional bundle system, then clump system, progressive bundle system, section production system, sub-assembly system, flexible flow system. These are all in bundling system. They all are almost similar with slight changes. Okay. Then assembly line system, that is one-piece flow system, straight line system, synchro flow system, unit production system, normally used in all large factories with big orders. Then modular manufacturing system, then piece rate production system, and quick response system. So let us try to understand the basics of this system. And again, I have told you that I am not an expert in the apparel industry. Okay. So whatever I have observed, whatever I have studied, I have tried to compile and make a presentation to you. But people working in the garment industry will be able to tell more about the problems what they are facing in different systems, which I may not be able to tell. Okay. A man who has jumped in water only knows what is the problem in swimming. Okay, and not a man like me standing on the shore. Okay, now we come to individual production system. The oldest system, what we know in garment manufacturing. In this, there are make-through system, whole garment production system and section or process system. Okay. In make-through system, this is traditional system of garment production whereby one operator assembles the entire garment. So this is not a big factory. There is a single person. That one man is doing all the activities. That is what we see in a tailor shop. We go and we give our fabric. He only will take the dimension. He only will cut. He only will stitch, and he will give it. In this system, tailors are not depending on others. So everything is done by one artist. The tailor even takes the measurements, makes patterns or use ready-made patterns, cuts fabric and does finishing of the garment. The tailor can also make the design, because sometimes we explain something and he will make a design and give new thing, whatever, which so far it is not there. So the products such produced are termed as tailor-made and are for specific individual requirement. So this is not called as a ready-made garment. It's a tailor-made garment for a specific individual as per his requirement. The tailor has made it. So it will be costly. It will not be cheap because he is a highly expert and one man doing all the activities. So it will be costly. Then each garment produced may be of different unique design. There is no repetition. He will make varieties and varieties and varieties. It is the system most suitable for personal dress, sample making, and when order quantity is low. Okay, I think it is very clear. Now we come to whole garment production system. In whole garment production system, one individual makes the entire garment from cutting the cloth to sewing and pressing the garment. Up to this, one man will do. But he is not making the designing. Please understand. The garment is ready for dispatch once the operator completes the final operation. It is more effective for producing a very large variety of garments in extremely small quantities. You cannot have big quantities in this whole garment production system. There are two systems in whole garment production system, namely complete whole garment and departmental whole garment. So let us see what is this. Complete whole garment. One individual makes the entire garment from cutting the cloth to sewing and pressing the garment. So one man is doing all the activities. The garment is ready for dispatch once the operator completes the final operation. They are mainly high priced and extremely made for particular customer. So this is not ready-made. Again, we don't call it as a ready-made garment. They are limited in number and distribution. Normally, about 10 to 20 garments are made. You cannot make what we do, 1 lakh, 2 lakh pieces like that. Then departmental whole garment. Here, there are different departments: cutting department, sewing department, finishing department, like that. So one individual does all the work in the equipment allocated to a department. So whatever equipments are there in that particular department, one man will be doing all the activities. He will be doing cutting, he will be doing finishing, all he will be doing there. For example, one person does all the cutting work in cutting department. Second person does all the sewing work in sewing department. And the third person does the pressing and packing work. The workers in this system may use more than one equipment to complete their respective job. Normally, the sampling section of a big garment factory works in this type. Now we come to the third system, that is section or process system. That is also called as group system. The operators specialize in one major component and sew it from beginning to end. The sewing room would have number of sections, each containing versatile operators capable of performing all the operations required for a specific component. The sections are built according to the average garment produced and include pre-assembly, the preparation of small parts, front making, back making, main assembly, closing, setting collars and sleeves, etc., lining, making, setting linings, and finishing operations, buttonholes, blind stitching, etc. There are so many such activities. For example, somebody may be expert only in fixing the appliques. Somebody is expert only in fixing the labels. Somebody is expert in making only the zip fixation. See, there are experts. They will be doing that activity. This system is very efficient for producing a variety of spice in reasonable quantity. So, here the quantities are big, different varieties are there. People make use of this type of system. So, a typical flow chart for process system is make full small parts, then make backs, make fronts, close back and fronts, set collar and sleeves, finish. So normally you can see this type of activities in our Chickpet area. There are number of ready-made garment manufacturers, but they are not having big factories like Shahi Export or Carles like that. So in each house, some work is going on. Each house, some work is going on. And one man is carrying from one house to another and is giving the material. And finally, they are getting the garments made and they are sold in small ready-made garment shops, not in branded garment shops. Now, bundling system. So in that, there are number of bundling systems are there. Conventional, all bundling system is for large quantity orders, not for tailor making. Okay. Conventional bundle system, clump system, progressive bundle system, section production system, sub-assembly system, and flexible flow system. There are different types of bundling. In the conventional bundling system, the sewing machines are arranged in lines. The work flows from the central store area to the first machine, from the first machine back to the store, and then on to the next machine, and so forth. A distributor station at the store is responsible for receiving and dispatching the work. The work in progress is in the form of bundles. These bundles may be put onto a tray, a box, or a bag, or the garment parts may be wrapped and tied. So I am just showing one this design. So there are operator number 1. Operation number 1, there are 2 operators. Operation number 2, there are 2 operators. Operation number 3, there are 3 operators. Operation number 4, only 1 operator. That is depending on the particular style. It is allocated. So material goes from the table to these operators and again goes back, and somebody is distributing some messenger. Clump system. Clump system is similar to the first, but there is a small change. In the clump system, a worker collects a clump of material from the work table and carries out the first operation. So here, nobody is supplying the bundles. The tailor only goes, he picks up the clump and he comes back to his table. So no messenger or bundle carrier is used. After completing his work, he returns to the table. Another worker for the second operation then continues the work and so on. The process is collection, work, return continues until the whole garment has been assembled. So there may be like this an operation. Operation 1, there are 2 operators. Operation 2, there are 4 operators. Operation 3, there are 5 operators. Operation 4, there is 1. Operation 5, there are 3 operators. Each one is going, collecting the material, going to his seeing this one. He completes, then again return back to the table. Only table supervisor will be there. He will be supervisor or a clerk, whatever you say. He will be distributing. Then progressive bundle system. This is what is more popular in almost all garment factories in Bangalore. This is also referred as batch system. In this system, the garments are gradually assembled as they move through successive sub-assembly and main assembly operations in bundle form. Bundles are assembled in the cutting room and then they are matched up with corresponding parts and bundle tickets. They are given to the operator scheduled to complete the operation. The operator is expected to perform the same operation on all the pieces in the bundle, retie the bundles, process coupon, and set it aside. The bundles are then picked up and moved to the next operation. The system is the most widely used system in the garment industry today. The main principles adopted in this progressive bundle system. The various sections are positioned according to the main operation sequence, with each section having a layout according to the sequence of the operations required to produce a particular component. Each operator receives a bundle, does his work, reties the bundle, and passes it to the next operator. The amount of machinery for each operation would be determined by the output required. A storage facility such as rack, bin, or table for storing the inter-process work between each operation is provided. A work storage position at the start and end of every section of these buffers, which is used to store work received from a preceding operation and to hold work completed by that section. Due to these work stores or buffers, each section is not directly dependent on the preceding system, but can absorb slight variations in output via the stocks held between the sections. Sewing operations are laid out in sequence. The work is routed by means of tickets. Machines and operations are organized into sections according to basic functions which produce subcomponents. Within each section, work is balanced according to the time required for each sub-function. See here, the most important thing, if we can somehow make the time uniform for all tailors, then your production will be very fast and inventory will be very low. Next is section production system. This system is similar to the progressive bundle system, but the difference is that instead of one line, work is divided into sections. Machines of similar operations are clubbed together instead of spreading over in all lines. For example, when a man's formal shirt is being made in a section layout, collars, cuffs, and sleeves are in the preparatory sections and then sent to the assembly section. So here what is happening, they are assembling separately, they are making small groups. So all are not in one line. This system is popular to improve line balancing, and utilization of human resources. Then sub-assembly system. In this system, the supervisor, the superior, this assembly system is superior to the progressive bundle system as it takes less time. Less time not because the activities are less, it is only because of lower inventories. The processing time for garment in both systems is same, but sub-assembly system has less waiting or temporary storage time. So nobody is waiting for anything. However, the space requirement, machinery requirement, and labor costs are high for sub-assembly system. When material, labor, space, and interest costs are high, synchronized sub-assembly system, which yields the least possible in process inventory, is more suitable. Then flexible flow system. In the flexible flow system, a section of sewing operators, each with a supply of work in a rack at the side, work at an engineered workplace. Engineered workplace means what? The workplace is designed in such a way that the work is easy. That is called as engineered workplace. The machines are laid out in such a way that a flow of work can be planned using the correct number of operators in sequence. For a given style, for example, style A in figure, next slide shows the figure. The work distributed after operation 1 can be distributed to the 2 operators performing the operation. See, operation 1 is smaller, so one man can do all the activity. But operation 2 is big. It takes more time. So instead of 1 operator, I am keeping 2 operators. So 2 operators will do that work. On completion of the work from both the workers, then send to operator 3. Then operator 3 again activity is small, so he can do more pieces at a time. Then after operation 3, the work is continued by the 2 operators in performing operations. This is just an example. When a new style is to be loaded onto the system, the number of operators needed for each operation must be planned in detail to ensure a balanced output. So normally what they do in the sampling section, when they are making the samples, the industrial engineers will take the timing of each activity. Then they know which particular activity is complicated, which particular activity takes more time. According to that, they will decide how many tailors will be put for this operation. So it is not just one behind the other. We have to decide. So they make the sections. So here if you see in this figure, style A and style B, 2 examples we have taken. In style A, if you see operation 1, there is only one. Operation 2, OPA 2, there are 2 people. Then operation 3, OPA 3, there is only 1. Operation 4, OPA 4, there are 2. But for style B, operation 1, there are 2 people. Operation 2, there are 1. Operation 3, there are 2. Then operation 4, there is only 1. So depending on the style, depending on the complexity, we decide how many tailors are there we put and where they have to sit, whether in straight line or in the U shape or in groups. Everything depends. Then assembly line system. So in assembly line system, which are mainly for high speed automation, more production, one piece flow system, straight line system, synchro flow system, unit production system, like that. So one piece flow system, instead of making a bundle of multiple pieces, bundle is made with all components of a single piece. Sewing machines in one piece flow system can be laid in a straight line or modular line. 2. One piece from back and move one piece in his next to his next operator after completing his work. Each operator is assigned to one operation only. Benefits of one-piece flow system are less throughput time and less WIP in length. WIP means work in process. The straight line system. In the straight line system, the manufacturing process is broken down into several operations which take the same time to complete. So here the industrial engineer is breaking the activities and making it in such a way that all operations take the same time. Groups of operators are required to handle only individual garments. The garment parts pass from one operator to next until the garment has been completely made up by one group of operators. The central distribution unit may be a fixed table or a conveyor belt. Its speed will be set to suit the cycle time. Now this conveyor belt, it may be overhead or by the side it will be moved. So the speed they decide in such a way that depending on the time required for each operation, the conveyor also will be moved. So this is just an example, straight line system. We start from operation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then end. Then synchro flow system. That is synchro means synchronized. This system is based on a synchronized flow of work through each stage of producing a garment. Time synchronization is the most important factor of this system because the flow of work cannot be synchronized if there are considerable variations in the standard times allowed for all the operations performed on the line. The manipulation required to balance the standard time for each operator can sometimes lead to illogical combinations of whole or part operations, which are not always conducive to the overall efficiency of individual operators. For example, say one man is stitching a small length for one operation. So he does in a small time. Another one operation is stitching a long line or a different type of stitch, not a plain stitch, whatever you say, chain stitch or this one. So some different, it takes more time, or sometimes there are some repetitions coming. Sometimes fabric has to move to and fro. So because of that, the time required for each operation is different. But if you want maximum production, then each operator should spend the same time for his operation. So operations we have to break up so that the time taken for operation is same. So material will be continuously moving forward. This is the basis of lean manufacturing system being followed worldwide in assembly lines. So now, if you go to any big factories like Shahi, Carle, or Page Apparels, etc., all are trying to implement lean concepts. So in the lean concept, the most work is done by the industrial engineers. They will see that the time is adjusted and given to them. Then unit production system. This is the latest. In UPS system, the unit of production is a single garment and not bundles. All the components of one garment are loaded into a carrier at a workstation specially designed for this purpose. The garment components are automatically transported from workstation to workstation according to a predetermined sequence. So normally they are all overhead chains. The workstations are so constructed that the components are presented as close as possible to the operator's left hand in order to reduce the amount of movement required to grasp and position and component to be tuned. The carrier itself is divided into sections, with each section having a quick release clamp which prevents the components from falling out during movement through the system. Now, the essential features of this UPS system. UPS system is now coming, you can see it in Himatsinka, Hassan. This system is there. Production operations are completed without removing the parts from the carrier. Automated materials handling replaces the traditional system of bundling, tying, untying, and manually moving garment parts. Electronic data can be collected from workstations, which provides payrolls and inventory data, immediate tracking of tiles and costing and performance data for prompt decision. This section is more suitable for big orders of a single style. Because as I told you, in Himatsinka, they make bed linens. So one particular dimension is there. All that dimension is never changed. So they are using this particular system. In modular manufacturing system, there are modular system, piece rate system, and quick response sewing system. So the modular system, an organized group of individuals working together in a cooperative manner to accomplish a common purpose is termed as a model. So here it is not line operation. There will be people will be in groups. Number of models work together to accomplish individual goals effectively and efficiently while simultaneously accomplishing goals of the team or organization. A team is a small number of people with complementary skills who are committed to common purpose, set of performance goals, and approach for which they hold themselves mutually accountable. A modular production system is a contained, manageable work unit that includes an empowered work team, equipment, and work to be executed. It is also known as cellular manufacturing units or compact work systems, flexible work groups, self-directed work systems, or Toyota sewing systems. So this system came from Japan. So they are making small groups, small modules they call it as, and they are each one is helping another man. So it is not that only one job is done by one man. They will just sit and help the other man, and all their team will complete their activity. So in this, modular manufacturing groups operates into teams or modules. The team works on one or a few garments at a time instead of a bundle of garments. So one garment or 2-3 garments only are taken at a time. They complete it and take next. The operators stand or sit at their stations and rotate to different machines as they work, becoming familiar with multiple steps in producing the garment. So all the people, all the 3 or 4 people in that group, they will be doing all the jobs and they will be completing. Each operator is cross-trained in a different portion of line that is continuous operation depending on skills and operation complexity. So multi-skilled operators form a group and each of the team members do multiple operations. The operators help each other to finish the garment quickly, and team is fully responsible for quality and production. It can be, normally they will make it in a U shape. So the teams will sit in between and they will be working from here and there. Piece rate production system. Actually, piece rate system is one of the most popular system in small and unorganized factories. In big factories, it is very difficult, and where styles are changing, also it is very difficult. Though people called it piece rate system, actually it is not a production system because there is no production system as piece rate system. It is only payment system. So payment may be fixed salary or depending on the number of pieces. So depending on the number of pieces, or now the industrial engineers are calculating the SMV, and according to the SMV, the people are paid. Whatever production system is used, as mentioned earlier, when operators are paid according to their work, how many pieces produced is named as a piece rate system. This helps in improving the team spirit, as all shall get higher wages if the team produces more than the specified number of garments. Next, we go to quick response sewing system. So this quick response is for changing designs very fast. This enables quick responses to market changes, especially when orders for individual styles are small or in small lots. See, it happens. I can give a simple example. Now, a cricket tournament will come. So at that time, suddenly somebody will come. They will say, "I will sponsor the dress material to all the players." So, depending on that one, 16 players here and 16 players there. Playing players maybe only 11. So total, and umpires and other things for that. So they want, and in that they want to put something different, some style. So for all that, you require this quick response sewing system, because all these people will think only in the last moment. They will not plan in advance. Once the match is just announced, the dates are announced, then they come and immediately say, "I want put. Each workstation is equipped with 2 or 4 machines, and the operator will take the garment through the required operations before transporting it to the next operation. Some of the basic machinery is duplicated in different stations, and if there is a bottleneck in one section, the overload is automatically transported to other stations. All the parts of one garment are loaded into a hanging clamp, attach it to the trolley, and there shall be one garment at each workstation. So this is how they make the layout. The people will be sitting. Work is transported by a computer-controlled overhead trolley system, and each station has an individual controller which provides the operator with information on the style being worked on. This information comes from the information card which accompanies each trolley. A wheel trolley with the components for one garment is pushed along the floor from operator to operator. All operators work in a standing position so that they can move quickly from one machine to another within their own workstation. Machine heights are adjusted accordingly, and touch pads and knee pad control are used instead of conventional foot pads. Now, I explained you different production systems that are in practice. By the time some new system might have come, I don't know. So what are the factors which are influencing the selection of production system? One is the mission of the company. Why I am starting a garment manufacturing unit here? That is the most important. Now take examples. A garment production unit started in a central jail. Central jail is also having a government production unit. There, the total production is not the concept. They want to engage the people in some constructive work by which they will learn the different skills, and once they are released from jail, they can earn. They need not go back to their criminal activities again of stealing or cheating like that. So for that is the purpose. But a garment factory in a village, the purpose is giving more employment to the people in the off seasons, because they are all agriculture people. They get some free time. So in the free time, they have to do something. So a garment company starting in a village is with that mission. A garment factory started in Bangalore. The purpose is entirely different, because here we want garment to be produced to export to the advanced countries and earn more foreign exchange to our country. The missions are different. So depending on that, you decide the production system. And sometimes, as I told you, the check tailor units. In each house, some work is done. Material is moved from one house to another house. So that is the mission. I want to give employment to this type of people, a group of artists. Okay. Next is the community around. See, what is the type of people around us? What they require, what they want. Depending on that, I require the production system. As I told you, the Chickpet community is people staying in congested area, different houses, maybe first floor or second floor or third floor. They'll be moving up and down. Roads are very small. Shops are very near. So that is the community they have got. So on that basis, they decide the market targeted. To whom I am going to sell the material. Whether I am selling it to a big market or I am selling it to a fashion market. See, if you take a school uniform and there is a chain of schools and all have the same uniform, then it's a different market. Or you are identifying the marriage parties. So for each marriage, you are trying to stitch some garments and give. So their orders are less, the designs are more, the instrument required are something different. So production system is changed. Availability of skilled human resource. See, I may think anything, I may purchase any material, any machines, but unless I get skilled human resource, I cannot do my activities. So whether the skilled human resources are available. In the skilled means not only the skill of hand, skill of thinking is also required, eyesight, clarities. See, there are so many things. So we have to see whether they are available or not available. Then financial conditions. How much money you have got and how much you can invest, how much you can hold. See, so many times, if you say, I want to bring my own brand, so I want to sell. You sell your own brand, no problem. But are you having enough money for circulation? Because all garments cannot be sold in one day. It may take 6 months or 1 year to sell the complete lot. Manufacturing, I may take only 10 days or 1 month. Okay. So the materials are held up. So are you having that much money? Then availability of land, building and other infrastructure. So depending on the production system, say morning somebody was talking, why China is leading. See, in some of the garment units of China, now in India also that type of units are coming. The minimum number of sewing machines used to be 1,000. Whereas in India, we used to have missionaries, 50, 100, like that. So their minimum is 1,000, up to 10,000 sewing machines in one sewing company. So they have got sufficient land, building, and other infrastructure. The policy of the government, this is most important, because I am interested doing in a lot of things, but unfortunately my governments are changing very fast. Sometimes JDS is coming, sometimes Congress is coming, sometimes BJP is coming, sometimes some other one is coming. So they are having their own policies. They want something to be done for them. So because of that, I cannot think of having a very stable system. So people try to have something by which they can change from this system to another system very fast. So conclusions, apparel manufacturing is fashion driven and the customers' requirements are changing very fast. In order to be competent in the field, the apparel manufacturers have to adopt systems to produce apparel fast and also at minimum cost possible. The designer needs to understand the limitations and accordingly develop designs which are convincing to both customers and the production facilities. The production facilities should have some flexibility so that they can handle both large orders and also small orders effectively. I think everything is clear. So if you want more details of whatever I talked, you can refer to my book, that is Handbook of Managing Apparel Production and Quality, published by WPI. So this book was published last year, the 2019 publication, latest book. If you have not purchased, you can please purchase this book for the institutes also. The book is, the price of the book is 4,495. But if you place bulk orders to WPI, they will give some discount for the institutions. Okay? Because I don't have more copies or any copy with me, because they give only 1 or 2 complimentary copies. And if I purchase and send you, it will take time also. So you can place order directly to WPI and get the book. Okay? So what they have written in the back, that also I will read. The garment industry, which was restricted to small scale for a long time, has now a number of big factories and has grown as a major industry, providing jobs for millions in various developing and developed countries. Only by building a big factory with automated machines is not sufficient to survive, but there is a need for developing a suitable culture for managing the industry efficiently with scientific and analytical approaches. The concepts of merchandising, production planning, industrial engineering, production management, waste management, quality management, 5S, Kanban, cost management, etc. are being taught. But people in number of garment factories only know the titles and not implemented the systems wholeheartedly. Whereas other industries are flourishing by adopting them effectively. The owners and management in garment industry are happy when they made profit, but have no inclination for making the system foolproof to avoid sliding down. It is necessary for the shop floor technicians and managers to understand the new concepts and tailor-make them to their situation and implement in their daily working. This book gives a brief insight of various management systems and the way same is adopted in the garment industry. So this is a very big book, 520 pages out there. So you can procure that. And I thank all for the patient listening to my paper. I hope you got some benefit. I thank Dr. Sanjay Ravi for inviting me to make this presentation. And I am very much thankful to Professor N.R. Shetty because he made me an author in apparels. Because he asked me to write a book 10 years back. I wrote my first book for N.R. Shetty when he was president of ISTE, Indian Society for Technical Education. And that became the basis for me to become a writer in the international level. Because I showed that book to Woodhead Publications and they said, "This you are very good in writing." So they said, "You send me number of books." So for 12 books I have published from Woodhead Publication and which have gone all over the world. So I thank one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was very interesting.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge and experience with our participants. It was really informative and useful session. It was pleasure listening to you. We thank you once again, sir, for spending your valuable time with us. I now request our participants to write their questions in the chat box if you have any queries. I repeat, I ask all the participants to write their questions if they have any in the chat box. Okay, thank you, participants. Sir, I think the topic is very clear and our participants do not have any questions. Okay, and it was indeed informative.
Thank you very much.
I request
So
all the
please try to get the book. What I'm suggesting, please try to purchase that book from WPI. Let all the people read it.
Sure, sir.
It's a very good book. I have taken more than 3 years to write it.
Sure, sir. We will definitely do that.
Okay.
It's a request to the participants. The feedback link for the session 2 by B. Purushottam is shared in the chat box. Kindly submit your feedback. And the feedback link would be open only for 10 minutes from now. Dear participants, also note the third session by Dr. Rashmi Munshi on fashion accessories will start at sharp 2 p.m. You are required to join the meeting at least 5 minutes prior to the commencement of the session. I repeat, the third session by Dr. Rashmi Munshi on fashion accessories will start at sharp 2 p.m. You are required to join the meeting at least 5 minutes prior to the commencement of the session.